So it appears that Enlisted has just dropped their latest dev server, and boy oh boy was I excited. And when I opened it up, it turns out there was pretty much nothing new, as expected, because this was a minor update. Well, to be exact, it's one of the better minor updates, and it's actually pretty interesting. So without further ado, we're going to be talking about this dev server that Enlisted has just dropped. That said, if you haven't liked, subscribe, or joined the Discord, highly suggest that you do, but that's it, let's get started. Starting up, we have the massive quality of life updates, and these are actually nothing surprising. To be exact, they did give Enlisted the ability to essentially use weapons that you haven't researched yet, so that's a very cool thing if you ask me. And they pretty much just fixed things here and there, and they added some winter uniforms here and there, and added some new uniforms. The most notably the French resistance squads. They have been given new uniforms, but once again, still nothing like the French Adrian, which was given to the French army in World War I and a modified version in World War II. And their uniforms are pretty much the exact same uniforms with just a little bit of tweaks. They also tweaked a little bit of the graphics, and they also tweaked a little bit of the locations and missions, but once again, no new equipment and stuff. Hence, we're going to be talking about what I think Enlisted should do for the next update. For those who don't know, I am a pretty big fan of three things. One is to add more maps, not only in the Pacific, which is probably where they should add the most maps, but also in other places. For example, I do not want to keep playing Stalingrad over and over and over again. And of course, I doubt Enlisted is actually going to give us a new map, considering they've been giving us Regev and most recently the Battle of the Bulge, but I do think they should give us a new location. Most likely, and hopefully in the Pacific, because as of right now, there's only one Pacific map, and that is pretty much Guadalcanal and New Georgia, so that's great. I was hoping for like a late war map such as Iwo Jima, Okinawa, or the Philippines, but that could potentially have to wait. That said, I do think the Japanese also need a lot of more equipment, for example, new tanks, and I do think Japan has a very big gap between the tanks that they have right now and essentially the Hori, and that is a pretty big issue. I think most people don't realize, in the sense that every other faction has pretty good, decent tanks in terms of, well, the number of tanks they have, and Japan only has one tier 5 tank being the Hori, and pretty much everything else is, well, pretty bad or very bad. On the other hand, I do think Japan needs a new attacker. The plane they have right now is very good, but they lack a dedicated bomber, which I think they do need. That said, the most important thing I think they should fix on is flushing all the factions. Most notably, as you haven't figured out by now, is mainly Japan. But I also do think they should flush out factions like the United States by giving it another new heavy tank, or they can give us the new tanks that they have in store. For example, they could give us a Porsche Tiger, a T-44, or the ones that they have in game files, such as the ISU-152, or even, heck, if they really wanted to give us to it, which is the Yak Tiger, which actually is in the game files, but I don't think it's a great idea, personally saying. But I do think Enlisted should give us more equipment or content for the Japanese, because they're really the ones that are under the bus. That's it, this is all it for the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.